Ladies and gentlemen, the person they call the most recognizable Canadian Anglophone separatist of 2022 is heading back to jail. Now, Tamara Lich, or Lich, depending how you pronounce it, is a Canadian Alberta-based activist who's among the organizers of the Yellow Vest protests in Medicine Hat, Alberta in 2018 and 19, and the 2022 Canada Convoy protests in Ottawa. She's also an early leader in the Wexit movement, which was a assemblage of people from Western Canada who were supporting separation from the rest of the country, and this later became the Wild Rose Independence Party of Alberta. Now, Lich was arrested in Ottawa on February 17, 2022 at the convoy protests and denied bail on February 22, 2002. On March 7th, that denial was overturned, and she was granted bail on the condition she remained off social media and that she leave Ottawa within 24 hours and the province of Ontario within 3 days, and to only return to the province for court-related reasons. On June 27, 2022, she was rearrested in Alberta by the RCMP for allegedly violating the conditions of her bail. Now, as it stands right now, there was an appeal of her bail, and it was denied. Now, according to published reports today in numerous media, her bail has been revoked, and she will remain in custody. Now, Justice of the Peace Paul Harris said the court found Lich's actions in relation to her case troubling. Now, allegedly, she was violating the conditions of her release when she attended an awards gala in Toronto and had contact with another convoy organizer. According to CBC, Justice of the Peace Paul Harris announced his decision in Ontario Court of Justice courtroom in Ottawa Friday afternoon, with Lich present at the hearing. Her detention is necessary to maintain confidence in the administration of justice, Harris said. He added it was absolutely ridiculous for her defense to argue that the presence of lawyers at the award gala somehow circumvented the bail condition. Now, in a very strange moment at the hearing, in the gallery at the event, someone not recognized by the media started crying, while another rushed out of the courtroom. There was no indication why those incidents occurred. Lich's next appearance is scheduled for July 14th via video. Now, again, she was taken into custody in Medicine Hat June 27th when the Ottawa police issued a Canada-wide warrant for her arrest. She faces charges of mischief, counseling mischief, obstructing police, counseling to obstruct police, counseling intimidation, and intimidation by blocking and obstructing one or more highways in relation to the protests that shut down parts of Ottawa for roughly 3 weeks during the winter of 21-22. Supporters holding Canadian flags chanted "Free Tamara" outside the courthouse after the decision. Now, as it stands right now, defense lawyer Lawrence Greenspan said to reporters outside the courthouse he was extremely disappointed in the decision and that the defense will seek a bail review in the Superior Court of Ontario post haste. He said Lich was understandably disappointed with the result and wanting to regain her freedom as soon as possible. Now, Lich has asked for a bail review as soon as possible. Now, this was the fourth bail hearing before. It was held earlier this week. She appeared virtually in Ottawa courtroom Tuesday, again, for her fourth bail hearing. Crown Prosecutor Moyes Karamiji said photo and video showing Lich at a Toronto Award Gala, posing with and briefly speaking to fellow convoy organizer Tom Barrazzo, amounted to a flagrant breach of her conditions. He argued Lich should be detained, adding that the judge who released her on bail gave her a gift, and she kicks it in the mouth. But Greenspan said Lich's actions were minimalist at worst. It didn't amount to a violation, so he should be released again with conditions. Now, he argued the fact that all they got is a photo and video as proof the conditions are working, saying the court needs to answer a simple question: should Lich be detained for what she did in Toronto? Now, the photo in question showed her arm in arm with many of the protesters that were recognized that night, and again, she was arm in arm with that, or linked with that, other protest organizers. One of Lich's bail conditions states she cannot contact or communicate in any way by physical, electronic, or any other means with a list of people associated with the convoy, including Barrazzo, except through counsel or in the presence of counsel. That wording was dissected during the hearing earlier this week, with Greenspan saying it refers to communication rather than physical contact. He also asked Detective Chris Benson, lead investigator of the case, whether he could identify lawyers with the Justice Center for Constitutional Freedoms, which put on the award ceremony June 16th. Benson said he could not, adding he was not aware of any of Lich's lawyers being in the video or photo taken that same night. But a detective told the court he believes Lich's actions constituted a breach. She's sitting at a table with Mr. Marazzo at a social event, a gala. This is not a lawyer's office. This is not a boardroom, said Benson. She's then photographed later that night with Mr. Marazzo, again, arm in arm. Now, a little bit of background. Allegedly, she was born in Medicine Hat, Alberta, but it's been published reports she has claimed U.S. ancestry and Métis ancestry, so if she's a Canadian citizen, it's been hard to get paperwork. Now, she's of undetermined age. She's been approached by media to give her age, and she has not provided that. Now, she has worked as a base administrator for the Medicine Hat Step Energy Services, as a fitness instructor, and as a musician in the Alberta-based band Blind Monday. Now, she advocates against legislation that does not take regional differences into account. As an example she used in 2020, it is Lich's opinion there are different needs for legislation on gun control in downtown Toronto in comparison to rural Alberta. She has opposed Bill C-48 and Bill 69 that regulated the oil industry in Canada. Now, as a member of the Maverick Party, she advocated for a unified voice of people in western parts of Canada to push for constitutional reform as a first priority and secession as a second. Again, very similar to the Parti Québécois of the 1960s. And again, she's an Anglo-separatist, which in Quebec is not going over very well right now, because some people believe she's co-opting the Parti Québécois and the Bloc Québécois movement. Now, speaking at a news conference on February 3rd, 2022, she called on all levels of government in Canada to put an end to COVID public health measures, and the majority of those have been lifted since then. Now, when she organized the Yellow Vest protests in Medicine Hat in 2019, following death threats made towards Justin Trudeau, Lich debated a name change for the group to distance our aims from those promoting violence. Now, Lich, again, a leader of the Wexit movement, which became the WIPA, or the Wild Rose Independence Party of Alberta. Lich left the Wild Rose Party to join the separatist Maverick Party, where she served as a member of its first governing council. In 2022, she was the secretary of the Maverick Party's Western Canadian Governing Council. Now, she was also involved in the 2018 United We Roll protest convoy. Now, she was a primary organizer of the 2022 Canada Convoy protests in Ottawa, as well as spokesperson and an organizer of the fundraising of the protests. She spoke publicly about how she felt offended that the protesters were being portrayed in the media as racist and sexist. Lich has been outspoken against forms of extremism at the protests. Now, the Métis ancestry is getting a lot of additional non-press going on, because I'm Métis, Katie Métis from the Maritimes, and it's basically, we don't really know her age, what she stands for, so her presence at the protest is not a surprise, but she's not been very transparent to some of the protest organizers, to the media, about her background. I know for a fact that the East Coast media, which I'm part of, had no idea who this woman was. She just basically showed up. And we didn't know she was a separatist. We didn't know she was doing all these different activities. And now she's going back to jail, and there's a lot of, where did the money come from for the support of the protests? Did she have contacts in the States? Was she being bankrolled? Was she helping to bankroll? As it stands right now, she's violated the terms of her bail as seen by the court. And as the world turns, the old soap opera can tell you, it's not done yet. So we present this as a public service. We're not taking sides in this. But as it stands right now, we have an Anglo-separatist in jail. And will she get out? We don't know. And will this mean better publicity for what she's been asking for? We don't know. From Yellow Vest to Wild Rose to Wexit to the Maverick Party to the protests in Ottawa, she's a busy lady, but right now she has a lot of time to think about it because she's going back to jail. So some people find that great, some people find that negative. Whatever side you take, we present this as a public service. We wish everybody good luck on this week. And on the banks of the St. John River, which I closely resides, we hope you like the NHL 2022 draft, because that was real news. And if you can't get this on the Rogers Network, that could be another podcast down the road. Thanks for listening. Bye.